Hello everyone, welcome back to Office 365 training series. So last video we have created a new tenant, set up a new tenant and then create a domain, verified it and then added to our Office 365 portal. Let's just check that once again. So on the domains I have my dev.ambrisharas.com added. So the setup is completed. What I'll do is I'll just walk you through the basic interface of Office 365 Admin Center before we dive deep into each section. So that's your home, where you get key information about your users, your billing, office softwares, domains, device policies. All those things are available on a single pane. And as an admin, you should always look at this message center, where all the key updates, key releases, anything that's new, you will even get, if you are on the correct package, let's say on a security and compliance center, let's say some of your user has a suspicious activity, that will also show up on your admin center. So to any admins, I would say that message center is very critical, and then keep an eye on that on every day, on a regular basis. So we have few new feature releases, update features, everything is available here. So this is a new tenant, but I've gone through all these messages on my production server, so I know all those changes. But I keep saying this, it's a very critical thing that you keep an eye on this, so that you are up to date with all these new informations, new product feature releases, everything that is related to O365. So let's go ahead and look at few other key features of Office 365 portal. So that's the admin center, that's a home page where you actually can quickly search users, groups, settings, those kind of things. Office 365 has a small training session for your end users and for an advanced training from LinkedIn. I was looking at it and then I could see that some of the LinkedIn sessions, what they say is, taking you towards a trial version of your LinkedIn learning. So that's another thing. And then you will see few service incident, service health. So anything that happens on your tenant, on your anything that's happening on your O365 portal, it will all show here. So you'll be informed on all those incidents and advisories if you need to take any further actions or inform your users about any outages, for example. So that's your home dashboard. Office 365 has come a long way actually. This home page alone has been improving, and then you have options to add more widgets to that. And then we'll head on to our user section, where you have, it's a very straightforward option. You create a user. Usually Office 365 users could be a cloud only or a hybrid approach. So we will eventually do a hybrid approach, where we will have an on-premise Active Directory, and an AD Connect will sync all these users to Office 365, and then we can assign licenses. So if you are only going for a cloud only approach, you basically fill their first name, last name and display name, username. You select the domain where the users should be under, select the country, and the password can be auto generated. You can set roles, basically a global administrator, or you can even set them as a customized administrator. So what we can do is, let's say someone from your finance need to get invoices, they can be a billing administrator. Your help desk team needs to reset password, he can be a password administrator, and so on. So there are some roles that is given, which you can customize it when you create a user, which could be useful if you want to delegate few things to your team members. And then you assign the licenses. I've only got one license for now. It's as I said, it's a test account, so you can assign one license, and even with that single license you can actually assign all together, or you can customize the licenses of each product individually to the user. So what I do as a general practice is, I don't assign a full bang of all products to the users. I believe in a phased rollout approach. So instead of overwhelming the user with a full suite of all the products, what I do is I start with the minimal things, your email, Office Online, SharePoint Online, if they want OneDrive, for example, and then things like To Do, for example, or Microsoft Bookings, Staff Hub, Forms, Yammer, Teams. All those things are, it needs time for people to adopt. So that usually is a phase rollout as what we do here. So you can basically start with a minimal one, and then once eventually you build up the thing. Intune Direct is used for your mobile device management and so on. So that's where you assign products, the licenses, and then just add the user. So this is a cloud only user creation. So that's users. You can create contacts here if you want. A good thing is it's pretty self-explanatory. Anything that you have, you just mouse over, you will see what each things explain. You can create a contact from here. You can create guest users, and all the users that is deleted are here. So if you want, you can restore the accounts from here. It's a simple thing, restore accounts. And then this is a new feature that's added. So Windows Autopilot, it's about, I think I mentioned that on my first video as well. Windows Autopilot is about assigning a device. So a brand new device, you assign it, you configure it with the serial number, with the Windows product ID. There is a set of things you need to do to assign those devices, but that what actually it does is after you complete this process, you can give a box back to your customer or your user. All they need is to open it up, enter their credentials, and everything will be set up from there automatically. And I think I've seen a video from Microsoft saying they also have something like you can reset the password, reset the device from the portal directly for an end user. I think it's an insider preview. It's still not released yet, but there are some cool features coming in soon, and I think Autopilot will be the future of your device management, how you gonna provision devices for your end users. No more traditional get the device admin or IT will work on the device, and set up, install, configure. Everything will be done on the over the air. Everything will be seamless, everything will be integrated to that user. So the experience is going to be even better moving forward. We will definitely configure Autopilot. And then there is groups. So it used to be your distribution list. So here Auth365 has given an option to help me choose. Basically it will tell you what each kind of group is for and when to choose those groups. So you have Auth365 groups, which is eventually replacing distribution list. The groups has so many features. We will be discussing that in detail when we set up groups. Something called shared mailbox. Shared mailbox, what we actually as a practice now, what we do is once a user leaves the company, we still keep a copy of the data. Usually it used to be a PST copy or a external drive or a network drive, and then we keep that saved. I think shared mailbox is an excellent choice where you actually you don't need to assign any licenses that is under 50 GB. So this is becoming part of our process, of our offboarding process. When a user leaves, we just convert the mailbox into a shared mailbox, so it doesn't take out license. I can use that license for a new user, but it still can be active and given to anyone. You can enable forwarding, you can assign it to user. So all those things will still work so long as your user's mailbox is under 50 GB. It's an excellent option. There are a few there are a few things that you need to be taking care of when you create a shared mailbox. So shared mailbox, the few of the drawbacks, as you can see here, is you cannot access the shared mailbox on Outlook for iPhone, Android or Mac, and only members inside your organization can read or reply to email sent to a shared mailbox. So you cannot add a second partner, an external email ID to a shared mailbox. And then shared mailbox, as the name says, it's shared. So if a member of that shared mailbox deletes a message, it's gone for everyone. So instead of that, groups will be used. And then this old-fashioned distribution list, but again Microsoft recommends now to create an O365 group than a distribution list. So these are the major groups, and then more details are available on the help me choose option. So that's about resource groups. And then you have meeting rooms and resources. You can create a meeting rooms. Again, same thing, you have an option, help page. Microsoft really does a good job on explaining everything on the portal. So you can choose when to set up, how to set up all those things using that. And then your billing section, where your subscriptions can be managed, your invoices can be taken, your payment method can be updated, your licenses can be assigned. You can purchase additional services. So for example, so if you go purchase service, maybe let's say you need to add advanced threat protection add-on, or you need to add a cloud app security add-on. So all of this can be purchased from here. It's a very straightforward process. You select that option, you can even start a free trial or just buy. It's a good an app store kind of thing, where it's easier and flexible. Sometimes you need a user where you don't need the full-blown Office 365 suite. You could get an Exchange Online Plan 1 or a kiosk licenses. These are cheaper options. For example, a kiosk license is where you get only webmail access or pop access, and Exchange Online is you get messaging, calendaring and email archiving plan, but you don't get the full suite of other things. You'll only get your Outlook, for example. So this way there are several other plans, and they keep updating this portal where they keep adding new plans. You can just get any plans, add it to a subscription, and then assign licenses. So those are the billing sections. And then support. Microsoft support, to be honest, has improved a lot from the time where we used to have the traditional support, which was I'm not sure I've ever tried support, but from the time I had Office 365, and then whenever you have a service request, hats off to Microsoft support. They are spot on, they are very good. Any issues, they will make sure that it's sorted out. They take their time and then they sort it out. So you can always trust on Microsoft support. If you ever get to some issues and cannot solve it, Microsoft service request is a must. It's the best thing in this Office 365 portal. This is another thing, service and add-ins, which is a very, very important place that you need to look into. I found a lot of things was hidden. Like I was not very sure about where to find the key few settings. But for example, Microsoft Teams, there is an admin center. Unfortunately, I got a hit an error now. I'm not sure what unable to retrieve settings. That's a bummer. But again, there are a few things where you can turn on, turn offs. Okay. See, you can configure whether your end user is allowed to download this. As part of their licensing, they have Microsoft Office desktop clients available. So you can either turn on, turn off, what kind of feature updates they need to get. All those kinds of things can be configured on the services and add-in section. Probably the reason why Teams is not available, because I think probably Teams is not activated yet. I haven't set up anything yet, so I'm assuming that's why I'm not getting that option now. Let's check mail. See, you can set up your anti-malware policies. You can block, for example, getting executable files as email from anyone outside. There are several policies. We will look into that as well. I'm just giving a general overview of the entire O365 portal. And then your security and privacy, where you can set your password policy. You can enable or disable sharing. You can disable sharing SharePoint wide or OneDrive, for example. And then you can even turn on self password reset, self-service. That's an option. So there are a few things that we can set up on your security and privacy section. That's organization profile. And if you add, let's say you got your subscription from a partner instead of direct Microsoft subscription, your partner relationship will be shown here. They will show you who is your partner, your contact detail, partner contact details, so you can get support and get in touch with your partner. So those are the settings, and then I've shown you already the domains. And data migration is basically about migrating data into, for example, let's say you migrate data from other services to Auth365, and there's a lot of reporting options, which so this is a generic dashboard on the key activities that happens on your SharePoint, email, OneDrive, those kind of things. So once you start using it, you will see the report of activities. You can select there's a lot of reports available by default. You can use any of this and then find out email activity, your Skype activity, Yammer, those kind of things are available on your reports. And there is a health analyzer where you will show your service health. Basically, there you go. You will see if your services are healthy, if there is any incidents, any problems, it will all show here. The message center, as I have mentioned earlier, I think, or I believe, this is the most important part of Office 365 to keep any O365 admin up to date with what's happening with Office 365. So I think this is very, very important. I like how Microsoft has Office 365 has made these admin centers. So they have split admin centers now. They have an Exchange admin center, Skype for Business admin center, SharePoint, OneDrive, Yammer, Power Apps, Security, Compliance, Azure Active Directory. So they have given individual admin centers. So that's your Exchange admin center, where you can manage your mailboxes. You can check you create your mail flow rules. You can enhance your protection of malware filter, connection filter, spam filter, those kind of things. As said again, you will be discussing all these things in details one by one when we get into the Exchange part. So one interesting thing that I recently discovered, they started, it's probably a few months ago they started this one. It's called Secure Score. So now Secure Score is actually an assessment of your infrastructure, of your Office 365, and then they will assess it and they'll tell you how secure is your Office 365 setup, and based on the current best practices, it will tell you how to tweak and make your setup harden against any security issues. And I really like it. It's a very structured, detailed score analyzer. So as you can see, as a brand new tenant, and just 22 scores, I have only 22 scores out of 311. And there are actionable items to make your score from this current state to your maximum scores. Maybe you won't be doing everything which is mentioned if it is low priority, but there are, let's say your target score is 250. You don't need to get 366. At least you achieve 250, and for that they have mentioned 18 actions. So this will cover the basics and include some different in-depth choices. So basically few actions like enable multi-factor for your global admins. So passwords, again, is not just enough at this age. You need a second layer of defense, and then multi-factor authentication is a second layer of authentication for any services. Every service, guys, if you don't have two-factor authentication enabled, I would really recommend on any services that you use, not just Office 365, but any services that you use, Twitter, Facebook, everything, enable two-factor authentication. I cannot stress that enough. It is a must. So if you haven't enabled it, start working on it. Make sure you have two-factor authentication enabled on all your services. So back to Auth365. Enable MFA for global admins. Enable MFA for all users. This is a very bigger thing to do, to roll out MFA, but this is the best thing to do, so that once the user logs in, they get an SMS, or you can use a mobile authenticator app to authenticate with the second layer, which always protects your users' credentials. I think it's a good thing I think it's a very good thing, a step towards protecting your users' credentials as well. So as and when you finish all those things, your score will increase. We will eventually see this how our Office 365 score increase. I would like to bring it to a decent level where our tenant is secure. So score analyzer can be, we can access score analyzers either from here, go to Office 365 Security and Compliance Center. That opens a new page which has key new features being added on a regular basis. They are evolving, they are getting better day by day. So if you go to, you scroll down, you have this secure score option. You can click on Microsoft Secure Score, which will take you to securescore.microsoft.com, and then you have the dashboard where it gives you an overview of what's happening now, and then you have a score over time score service, so you will know what's been done and what to do. So this could be a very good approach to make sure that your environment is secure based on the best practices suggested by Microsoft. So keep an eye on this, harden these things, and make sure you assess everything, single thing that you are about to do. Make sure that you assess the key risk involved if there is any change, and plan and deploy accordingly. So that's a secure score. And there are more on the security and compliance portal, where you have threat management and ATP. And I've recently seen Secure Score has extended, I forgot about this. Secure Score has extended to Windows as well. So even when you start managing your Windows with, let's say, Windows Defender, for example, when you had Windows Defender ATP on your subscription, you can start managing your Windows score as well. So that's kind of an end-to-end, at least for an endpoint and an Office 365 way. I think it's covering pretty much every aspects of your Windows. So I think it covers your patch management, your secure score on Windows side, and on Office 365 side. It's a good mix of security that actually can harden your environment. It's a good starting point, I guess, towards securing your environment against any upcoming threats. Again, there is no 100% guarantee, but it's always better to have your environment secured as much as possible against any unknown or upcoming threats. So that's an overview of Office 365 Admin Center, and in the coming sessions we will be looking at each part one by one in detail, and we will be setting up things like Windows Active Directory server DC, and then add some clients, probably enable AD Connect, so that the users I create on Active Directory gets synced on Office 365, and then we'll manage from there. So it's going to be fun. There are going to be more things coming up soon. Watch out. Please do not forget to subscribe, like my videos, and I hope this is helpful for all fellow IT professionals who are interested in O365. Thank you guys. See you soon.